It's because, let me just check and make sure we have autofocus on correctly. What's up, everybody? Sorry. Making some last minute adjustments. Welcome to Dylan Talks Tone. And a weird light on this side because I forgot to charge my normal light. So, yeah.
I don't know that they can tell it's a weird light. It's really bright to me.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. This is our Thursday night Q&A hangout. I was deathly ill last week. I did not eat for 4 days. It was brutal. But I'm back and everything is good. So we're going to do our Q&A tonight, our Patreon questions, our YouTube member questions, and I actually took the subject matter from last week as well as all the questions from last week and all the questions from this week. So, because I didn't want to miss anybody's Patreon questions from last week just because I was sick. So, that's what we're going to do. If you want to ask a question about guitar stuff, get it over there in the chat dude right over here. Put a bunch of question marks in front of it. Leslie will catch it. I will tell you, because we're doubling up, we're going to be packing a lot in. So therefore, make sure that you have a question and put a bunch of question marks in front of it and use a super chat if you really want your question answered, because people get offended if we don't answer their question. I'm like, well, you should have either like Patreoned or super chatted or showed up earlier. So
Is that a verb? Patreon.
Yeah, whatever. A couple things before we go. We got a new merch on the website. We've got some new apparel over there. This new hat is one of them, super cool. And we got a couple of new shirts. And you'll notice there's a couple shirts that are a little more expensive than the other ones because we upgraded to like an athletic-y material, and they're really cool. And the printing looks better on it. It's really they're really neat. So we also have a few new things in the special edition pickup vault. We have a raw nickel DAF right now, and we have a raw nickel and hand hemp wrapped flat 6 set that is special. And those are over there right now, and they're ready to ship. So we could like just throw them in the box tomorrow and ship them if you bought those. We have a Patreon live hangout on Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I suggest you not miss it because there is a lot going on right now in the off-topic side of life and some other things that affect Dylan Talks Tone and things that I want to talk to you about and tell you about over there on the Patreons. So there is a level for that on patreon.com/Dylan Talks Tone. I uploaded another pretty cool update the other day to Patreon, and I'm probably going to do another one tomorrow. So tomorrow morning. So if I have time, I'm actually shooting a video tomorrow too. When we get in the off-topic hour, we'll tell you about that. One last thing. Something I'm going to do as I have little things hanging around here. For the next 24 hours, basically what I'm going to do is anybody that makes an order in the next 24 hours, I have this new X personal amplifier right here. I'm going to pick an order in the next 24 hours, and I am going to put this in one of those orders. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, the number of orders that we get over the next 24 hours,
random number generator
it. Yep. And that means you could order a hat, you could order a shirt, you could order anything. It doesn't have to be a whole set of pickups, just hats, shirts, and it doesn't matter. Whatever you order, I'm going to randomize it, and we're going to throw one of these in. And we may have something next week too, but that's not for sure. This is for sure. It's in my hand. It will go in a random order. So if you have something you want, you can grab it right now, and you may win that thing. All right, let's get into our Patreon questions. And our first Patreon question is our subject of the week.
No.
Well, that's how we do it. So people don't whine.
Shane wants to know.
What's up, Shane?
What, if any, benefit is there to wrapping strings around the tailpiece instead of straight through? Thank you.
this is an interesting question, and I'm going to tell you a little story. So, the Gibson Gazette, which is their like kind of newslettery magazine thing, it used to actually be a magazine. There's an article in there, and I saw the headline of it last week. And then you, Shane, this was last week's question, and you asked this question, and I thought, huh. And that article just came out. This might be on people's minds. This is a great main topic for the evening, right? I didn't read the article. And then my buddy, Big KO from Run DMC, texted me yesterday. And he's like, yo, you're in that article. And I was like, wait, what? And so I went and scrolled it. And sure enough, they're like, YouTuber Dylan Talks Tone talks about top wrapping and the various benefits and
What is it? It says like gets into the science or
yeah,
something.
and they like really gave me, which makes me feel good because a lot of people criticized that video, and I know what I was doing in that video and how I wanted to show that, you know. So let's talk about top wrapping. The main reason people do it is because they feel that it lessens tension on the strings. Here's the problem, though, is that the tension on the strings is always the same. Otherwise, you're out of tune. So if you have a 24/7/5 scale and it's tuned to E, tuned to normal pitch, and you lessen the tension, it now goes flat. So the tension of the strings does not actually change. That is a big time misnomer. The feel of the tension, the feel of the strings may, in some cases, depending on the setup of the guitar, can feel a little differently if you lessen the break angle of the bridge pretty severely. Because what that does is that pulls down, basically, it pulls down on the string. And what happens is it pulls down and creates a harder break angle or lessens a break angle when you raise it up by top wrapping it. And as you lessen it, the string can then slide back and forth when you bend. So you bend and it's pulling further. It's sliding the string across the saddle and pulling the whole length of the string. When you have a really hard break angle, it pulls. It's harder for it to do that, to make that corner, if that makes sense. But the easiest way to do it, I don't top wrap because I don't want to ruin my tailpiece. The real way to do it is just raise your tailpiece. The tailpiece is designed to be risen. The tailpiece has risen. People get all bonkers about sustain, but the bottom line is this. The threads are in the wood. It's still going to have the same exact amount of sustain. We did a video on this and we tested it. It's a bunch of BS. It's designed to be raised and so that the string doesn't hit the back of the bridge, etc. Just raise your tailpiece. If you want to top wrap, you're sure welcome to do it, but I think that it produces very little results and it ruins parts. But if you think you're cool like Joe Bonamassa, then go ahead and do it. Yeah, it's no big deal. It's not, you can do it or not do it. But you're not really gaining anything that you wouldn't gain by just raising your tailpiece a little bit, and you're not losing anything by raising your tailpiece. Even though people think that everything has to just be like a bajillion pounds of torque for sustain, they're full of crap. End of rant. Next question.
Damian Joseph. Hi, Dylan.
What's up, sir?
You asked us to share what we think is worth it and what enthuses us, so here goes. I was diagnosed with a benign brain tumor late last year. It was removed a month ago, but I permanently lost hearing in one ear. Last week, I bought myself a Gibson Custom Shop ES 335. It was a dream guitar, and I went for it. The guitar has helped me get through this tough time by keeping me playing and giving me something to be excited about. It has been therapy on so many levels. It's by far the best guitar I've ever played and brought joy back into my life. In this case, so worth it.
Smiles, is all it's about.
That is really cool.
And I have to tell you, I do not share your experience. Obviously, I do not know how you feel in that. But I will say that I have had a life-changing injury. And so in much the same way, I will tell you that it makes you think about things differently, and it makes you not worry about the same things. And it also makes you like, you know what? If I want something nice, I'm going to get something nice. Because, everything's kind of expendable, including us. So, you know, I appreciate your sentiments there. That's really cool, man. And I'm glad that you're feeling better and up to playing and all that.
Yeah, and assuming health is better too.
Yeah,
Minus
that's
the
really cool,
hearing
man.
loss.
Thank you for sharing that. Because that's really what it's all about, right?
Ivan. Hi, Dylan and Leslie. If you would get a humidifier for a whole room, what style would you choose? I found that some ultrasonic ones leave a nasty dust all over. Not sure I'd like to have to clean that off all my exposed guitars.
It's hard because some of them, this is something that I want to test in the very near future. I want to do another video and I want to test this because you're right. The misty ones that are like fan based are harder to regulate. The ultrasonic ones are easier to regulate, but they do that. So I don't know the answer to it right now, to tell you the honest truth. We don't need a humidifier where we live because of our, humidity. So it's something that I'd like to research a little bit more and maybe collaborate with somebody who lives somewhere where they have to worry about it some more. But this is something I want to look into further.
I mean, there's humidifiers in almost every guitar store we go in. Like when they have closed up.
Yeah.
What do they use?
Just the normal. They're just a fan basically over a bucket of water. Really, that's what I've seen. They're not ultrasonic ones.
I just figured
they're just hard to regulate those because you're just spraying water into the air, and it's get a fish tank. Our fish tank used to control the humidity in our house a lot. It did though.
All right, Shane.
This is a different Shane, I think.
Okay. Dylan, I have a custom build going with TTG.
Yes, different.
They are building a one-off Super Casanova since the offset is my favorite body. I'm really wanting to focus the sound on the build more to be jazz side of the Jazzmaster, and the build will not include a trim system since I rarely ever use a trim. I bought a set of your gold mesh P90s thinking I would use them for this build, but I noticed your smoothie humbuckers and I'm intrigued. I am looking for the tone I had out of late 90s PRS Custom 24 when they had the HFS and VB pickups. I am 75% a neck pickup player as I love the clean jazzy tones from most guitars. Which pickups would you recommend for this build?
P90s all day long. And if you're a neck pickup person, I would still have P90s. And I would use a .033 or a .047 cap with 500K pots. And that will get you a nice smoothness on the top, still crispy enough to be clear. Jazz tone is something I'm very sensitive to. My dad actually plays a Jazzmaster that I built for him. And yes, I would say that, and my dad's a jazz guitarist, and I would say that would be the jam. That would be what I would do. Yep, P90s for sure.
So he's already got them.
Yep.
Good deal. Matt. Hey, Dylan and Leslie. Out of all your pickup sales, which type of guitar do you think changes their pickups the most? Les Paul, Strat, Tele, and Gibson, Epiphone, Fender, Squier. Have a good time tonight and likely catch the replay later. I almost read have a good time Tennessee, and I was like, we're not in Tennessee, and I was like, oh, tonight.
So that's hard to say because it goes in streaks based on what videos are out. So like let's say we do a video about Epiphone Les Paul stuff. We sell a bunch of humbuckers and people, I think, put them in Les Pauls. We'll sell a lot of stuff that people put into the import PRSs. We sell a lot of Telly stuff, which obviously is going in Tellys, and we sell a lot of P90s. And I don't know where most of those are going, but I know a lot of them are going in like Epiphone specials and juniors and stuff. Um, but P90s can kind of be all over the place. So, I mean, P90s are our number one top selling pickup. If we sell center punches, a lot of times they're replacing JB and Jazz pickups in a lot of guitars. Our pickups are our center punches and our 8 balls are really, really good upgrades for anybody that has a Seymour Duncan JB and a Jazz. You'll just get way more clarity, way more articulation, way more note definition, but you'll still get that same overall sort of tone, just better. So I do know that many, many, many people over the years have replaced JB and Jazz pickups with those things. And then a lot of low-priced humbucker guitars get our DAFs and our Super 8s. So I know a lot of Harley Benton people buy our stuff. A lot of people buy Epiphone people buy our stuff. So yeah, it's kind of all over the place, and it goes in streaks based on kind of what's hot right now. But that gives you a little idea.
Rob. Hello, Leslie and Dylan. I startled myself the other day when I set my Les Paul to the middle position and there was no sound. At first, I thought there might be a wiring problem. Then I realized the bridge volume pot was set to 0. So I increased volume on the bridge and all of a sudden the middle position worked fine. Is this normal behavior for a 2-volume, 2-tone harness, or is this an artifact of 50s wiring? Thank you.
It's called 50s wiring, and it is how it's supposed to be in that particular guitar. The benefit to it is it does not supposed to roll highs off as much as when you turn the volume down. Personally, I don't like it. I actually like Fender style wiring, like modern style wiring better. But that being said, I mean, all my Gibsons have that vintage style wiring because I didn't change it. But it's good. I mean, it makes it to where your volume doesn't mess with the tone as much. That's really what it is. But the thing is that it's shared now in the middle position. So if you turn one volume down, they'll both go off. Kind of weird. Yep. You accidentally discovered it.
Shane. Good morning, YouTube. I'm lucky enough to have this Friday off to watch the show. Question. Thoughts about ESP Guitars rebranding the George Lynch Kamikaze guitar as the Desert Eagle to celebrate his First Nations heritage. Being a First Nations member yourself, do you feel intrigued to try this guitar, or do you feel it is exploiting First Nations culture for profit?
So this is the first I heard that this was happening when you shared this. And then we saw the picture of it and stuff. I know that George Lynch is very involved in his native culture, and like he's involved in some film projects. He's involved in some stuff in a lot of things, and I think that's very, very important. I think that that bringing awareness to people give me a hard time about it too. People give me a hard time in general. Like I have to delete racist people out of the comments all the time, who feel that it's wrong to talk about that stuff because this is America and blah blah blah. But the reason he does it, I believe, and the reason I do it is to make sure that that culture never dies, because the goal, not to get too in the weeds here, but you could do a lot of reading on this if you read in the right places, but the goal of everybody except for First Nations people has been to assimilate them over the last 200 years, and it has largely worked. And so for somebody to have a voice and be able to say, you know what, I'm going to represent my Nation's heritage. I think it's very cool. As far as the amount of money that he's going to make, he's not going to make. It's not a huge profit center for him to do that, because most people, sad to say, and I am speaking from experience because it happens to me literally every day now, will see that and be upset at his activism for his culture and not buy the guitar or stop following him or something like that. Because white people feel that it's very divisive. And so I'm just going to say it. That's what happens. Whether you think that's right or wrong is neither here nor there. I'm just telling you it's actually what happens. So it's not going to be a huge profit center for him, but he is, since he's has a voice and he wants to use it as awareness for his culture, I think it's very cool that he's doing it. So, yeah.
Super chat from Fat Hand. Thank you for the super chat.
Look at his symbol. Like that's actually like an F in it. That's really cool, man.
He says, "Hi, Gary here. Thank you for being here. Related to the string wrapped tailpiece thing, do you have an opinion on string through bridges versus top loading, and are they interchangeable?"
We did a video on that too. We did a bunch of testing on that. And I always do string through when I build Telecasters, unless I'm doing a Bigsby situation, only because people have a value attached to it in their head, like a top loader is cheaper. And again, people have this false sense of where sustain comes from. They're just this sustain bros, you know. Well, the Sustain Brothers T-shirt is the new one, by the way. It's fantastic. But yes, it's, people really get overbent into that whole situation. Largely, it doesn't make much difference at all, and it's fine. You could play it either way.
So they are interchangeable, or
yeah. Well, they're not. You have to have the holes correctly. But yeah, if you have a top loader bridge on a string through guitar, just string it like that once and play it, or string 3 strings one way and 3 strings the other way. A lot of guys figure out various different ways to come up with some combinations because they think it feels different. The tone doesn't change. We have proved that in many videos. The tone doesn't change. But yeah.
Thank you again for the super chat.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. So did that scroll me down? No. All right. So now I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's a big one. Efstathios.
Yep.
Good evening, Leslie and Dylan. Sort of a technical question for tonight. I have a 2014 Fender 60th Anniversary Limited Edition American Standard Stratocaster, which I had professionally set up at a local shop, tuned to E-flat. They set up the tremolo arm to only move towards the neck and not the bridge, but I don't use it at all. The guitar is stock except for the Fender locking tuners that were already installed on it when I bought it, used. Every time I change strings, I use the recommended gauge 9s and do stretch them. There is significant buzz all the way from fret 1 to fret 14 or so on the low E flat and A flat strings, the action of which is set to 0.070 inch. After playing the guitar for a while, a day or two, the buzz goes away. Any thoughts as to what could be causing this?
Almost wonder if it's just a temperature situation or a humidity situation, or you can take it down if you want.
I was going to move. As soon as I take it down, I figured you wanted to read something.
No, I'm good.
You understand the whole question?
I do.
Okay.
I do. E flat, I would try 10s first of all. It sounds like you are very close to having a back bow situation on that guitar, and 9s are kind of floppy for nines, no matter how you set a guitar up, nines half step down are going to be kind of floppy. So you might try putting some tens on it and seeing what happens. That's what I would do first, without touching anything. It won't change the setup or anything. Just try it.
Zoltan, same as last week. If you were head of marketing for Gibson, Fender, PRS, what artist would you try to sign to appeal to new fan bases? Signature models are great, but I'm 40 plus and I'm still seeing the same artist names my dad told me about 20 to 30 years ago. My teenage kids couldn't care less about last century stars.
We were just talking about this yesterday.
We were?
Yeah. Not
If you were head of marketing?
no,
Just
not
kidding.
not endorsement deals in specific, but just demographics of where guitar players are now and what they're buying and what
Oh,
they're
yes, I do remember that.
yeah. Younger. I would go to Instagram. I would go to TikTok. And I would see what artists people are making, what guitar players are making fun of, and I would go sign all those artists. So like Taylor Swift, um, Ed Sheeran, Machine Gun Kelly, all these people that guitar players think don't deserve signature models. It's why they have them, because they're selling guitars to younger people. Not only selling guitars to younger people, but they're also selling um, dreams, and they're also selling records. So, uh, yeah, I think younger is the thing. I was reading a bunch of stuff yesterday about marketing, um, and people who buy luxury brands and shop for luxury brands or luxury products, meaning anything that they may not be able to afford or have to save up to afford, like just out of their reach, uh, that are non essential items, i.e., guitars are one of those items. The purchase um, age range for that these days starts in the late teens and early 20s. And so as much as all the old dudes are complaining about how expensive guitars are, younger folks don't know because they didn't live through that inflation. So whatever a guitar costs is what it costs. And they are willing to save up or use credit or do whatever they have to do to stretch a little bit to get those things. And so as much as the older dudes want to complain, the younger folks want that stuff and they want it from artists that they recognize. So that is what I would do. I would be looking younger. I would be signing people you've never heard of, but your kids know who they are. I would be signing people that had songs on the radio that had 3 chords in them. Like it doesn't even matter. They don't have to be shredding 24/7 to because younger folks don't like that music anyway.
Mm-hmm.
If I go right now to my daughter or my son and be like, what song do you want to learn? They're going to want to, or our daughter-in-law, she's going to want to learn. If she were to learn a song on the guitar right now, it would be some Taylor Swift song that was 3 chords and she could strum it 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, but she'd be proud of herself for doing it. We're not talking about shredding. Like that's not where it's at. It's about the sense of accomplishment. And I have a bunch of friends that are guitar teachers too. And they talk about those are the songs that everybody wants to learn because it's a sense of accomplishment. They can go in there and in one lesson, they can strum through a 3 chord pop song and all their friends know it and they know it and they feel good about that.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are the artists that I would be signing. And I would also not just be signing guitar artists. I would be signing artists for other lifestyle products that were. I would personally be developing lifestyle products that were associated with the guitar brand, and I would also be looking at um, uh, to kind of make a fashion out of it, and I would also be looking at all the peripheral things as well. So not just guitars, but like little practice amps. I would make sure that an artist had a signature positive grid. Like all the little things that go with it that are $100 and $200 and $300 that go along with a signature guitar. That's what I would do. Yep.
It looks like that's your list.
Cool. Because signature models are not merit based. Guitar players have it stuck in their head that signature models are merit based. Like the guitar player is good enough and now they deserve it. That's not how it works. If a guitar player can pull numbers, viewers on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, they get a signature model because it's about guitar sales. It's not about merit. And if you think it's never been anything, if you ever think that it's been anything other than that, you're lying to yourself, because even way back in the day, long time ago, all signature models were to sell instruments, not merit based because somebody deserved it. It's just not how business works. Cool.
Does it work though? Like,
oh yeah,
people want something because
Yeah.
somebody else has it?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. There'll be a million people in the comments right now saying, I don't ever play a guitar where it's got somebody else's name on it. But the simple fact is, they sell out. They sell out. That pink guitar, used, is going for the exact same price that I paid for it when it was new. And that pink guitar, that MGK guitar, was on back order for a year. And I have a friend at Schecter, and I called him and I was like, if I just send you the cash, can you grab me one? And he's like, we're on 400 guitars behind on orders this month for that guitar. I cannot spare any. I mean, so people think they know, but they don't. It's like the companies know what they're doing. They definitely know what they're doing.
I just didn't know if that was still the model, but I guess that would just be added into a portfolio of other influencer things.
Oh yeah. And what it means and how you look for that now is different, right? So
yeah, it's not who's touring or
right.
Yeah.
Right. I've never sent, save for one person who is a friend of mine, I've never sent anything for free to anyone who is a national touring artist. And I've had them ask, and I've told them no. But if somebody comes to me and says, I have 1 million subscribers on YouTube and I have however many thousands of subscribers on TikTok and I have blah, 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 then now we're talking. Yep. Now we're talking.
I've been very, if it doesn't say question or have question marks, so there's not very many.
Okay.
Rusty said, has anyone tried the top drilled tail pieces that mimics overwrapping?
I just saw those very recently. And so let me just say that I think that's a cool thing, but I think it is it's a solution in search of a problem, because there is no problem. There's nothing wrong with a normal tailpiece. You just raise it up. It's all the things that people say about that are all imagined, and it's against science. It's just one of those religious guitar tone things that people have been doing for so long. I just raised mine up this much and it's fine. And I have just as much sustain as Slash still, so it's whatever.
New gun guy. Question. A lot of bass amps have clip indicator lights. Is there a way to easily modify guitar amps to have clip indicators?
So that would be only useful if you are playing 100% clean. Because think about what clipping is. Clipping is when the signal is now amplified beyond the limit, or the amplified signal, let's just say, the amplitude of the signal goes beyond what the amp can do cleanly. And so then it clips, which is overdrive. So if you want to limit yourself so that you never overdrive, that would be useful. But that doesn't make sense in very many applications. In bass, for the most part, it does, and that is why. The reason they do it in bass is because they want it to stay clean. The other place we'll do it is jazz guitar players will do this. But the way they get around it is they will use an extremely high wattage, typically Class D solid state power section, and like a JC120, the Jazz Chorus amp is an excellent example of a very high wattage solid state amp that just won't clip because it has so many watts. And with solid state stuff, it's really easy to do that. Tubes by nature will clip. So just because of how they work, because of the squish of the voltage, because the way that the amplifier works, the voltages are literally saturating and squishing and compressing and then letting go, and it's all on these weird squishy ramps, and that's what makes a tube amp cool. But it's kind of made to do that. So, that's why I always laugh when people are like, I wish you would play more clean. And I'm like, no, because that's not what it's for. Like, it's just not what it's for. So you could do it, but basically the way guitar players get around it is super high watt, like a Class D kind of thing. Like a Kemper, 600 watts, and that's why. So that it stays 100% clean and the amplifier itself never clips. But as a guitar player, I don't know why you would want that. In most circumstances.
Charles Wallace. Does the strings touching the back of the bridge after the saddles cause issues? Thanks for sharing.
It can, and it does, and I don't like it, so I just raise the tailpiece up. Fixes it. Gibson wouldn't have made it adjustable if they didn't want you to adjust it.
Rick Nelson. Can, should, or do people typically set a Floyd Rose for the 1.5 step G string upswing? Do alternate tuning affect the range? And do the tone blocks bang around inside like a lot of Fenders do?
Okay, so this is an interesting question. So Floyd Rose, or a double action tremolo, as I've known to call it, been trained to call it, is so okay. This is a neat question, and I'm going to talk about this more in a video when we do our setup on a floating tremolo. Stratocaster tremolo was not meant to float. A Stratocaster tremolo is literally meant to sit on the body of the guitar and only go one way. So if you do that, and it's an American Strat, and it's not a copy, and it's not, got some wacky stuff, then no, the tone block should not hit the body, ever. Many import guitars use mismatched stuff and source the bodies from other places, and you'll run into those little things, and there will be a little notch on the inside that's in some bodies, and some bodies it's not, and that's various stuff. So you'll run into that clearance sort of issue. A Floyd Rose is designed differently. So a Floyd Rose is meant to be flat. So when you talk about the going up a step and a half on the G string, like Jeff Beck set up, you are now floating a strat tremolo, and you are picking that as the interval that you want to use, which is the same one I use when I do it. But on a Floyd, you don't refer to it the same way, because on a Floyd, it doesn't matter. On a Floyd, you just set the guitar, you set it parallel with the string surface. So if the strings are here going in a line, the level, I used to say parallel with the body, but if the body's got a curve to it, you don't want to do that. So you want the base plate of the Floyd to be parallel with the string surface. Not up like this, not down like this, just in the middle. And then it will do whatever a Floyd does, no matter what strings you have on it, if you set it up so that they're parallel, it's parallel with the string surface. And we have videos on how to do that. It takes about 10 minutes once you understand how to do it. Floyds are really easy to set up once you understand what you're doing with them. And it doesn't matter. The only thing that sucks about a Floyd is when you break a string, you can't keep playing it. You have to put the string back on it. You also cannot run mismatched. Every time you change string gauges, you have to reset that back to level. So if you ever look at a Floyd Rose guitar and that thing is not parallel with the string surface, that person has that thing set up wrong. End of story. That's how it's supposed to be. Yep.
I tried to get more context, but they haven't responded yet. B. Rod Clark said, as a pickup maker, has anyone sent you a set of pickups to try out?
Yes. I have taught people how to make pickups, and then they made some, and they sent them to me to see if I thought they were good. And they were. Yeah, I've had people send me stuff quite a bit.
Yeah,
Actually.
I didn't know if the context of the question was that, like other makers, or did somebody send you something like build to match? But you've done
We've
both.
done both, yeah. So companies have sent me stuff and said, we got this from somebody else. We're not working with them anymore. Can you make something like this? And yes, we have done that. For like a guitar company and made stuff for them. Yep, we've done that too.
That's all I got.
Oh, really? Wow. Leave them for 1 week and they get out of practice.
I just like the idea that make it look like a question because they talk to each other a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
easier if I can just scan and not.
Yeah. Yeah, putting question marks in front of them is really the thing to do.
So if you asked a question and we didn't ask it, I didn't see it. So make it visible.
Next week, I guess next Monday. So we're doing Les Paul this week. Because we're doing this, semi-annual maintenance guitar series.
Yes.
So we've done Telly, we've done Strat. We're going to do a Les Paul this week.
This week or like Monday?
Well, I'm going to shoot it tomorrow.
Well, they don't know your schedule.
Yeah, I'm going to shoot it tomorrow and it'll come out Monday. And then the following week, we're going to talk about a floating tremolo. Because then we'll do the PRS Fiore. Because that has a floating tremolo on it. So we'll do that guitar. That'll be cool. And that'll answer a lot of those questions because I have a Silver Sky, I have that, I have a Strat, so we can look at the differences of how you set those things up. That's pretty cool.
67 Goat said Phil lives where there is no humidity.
I know. He's the first person I thought of when I thought about talking to him about.
Yeah, and he's got it looks like a nice room, so maybe he has something.
Yep.
Charles Wallace said, glad you are back.
Thank you.
Glad to be back. Dog Dr. Tim said, so what started the whole top wrap discussion? So it was a Patreon question.
It was.
And then I think it was serendipitous that we didn't get to do it last week.
Yeah.
Because then we realized you were in the article that
Gibson
also
put
made
out.
you
Yeah.
push like, oh, this should be the topic.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Ivan says, when are we doing the Zoom call, Dylan?
Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, that's the 4th Monday.
Yep. 4th Monday.
Super chat from Rick Nelson. Thank you for the super chat, Rick. He said, thanks, guys. And I'd like to see you do a jag trim, by the way.
I do not have one. I have a friend that has one I could probably borrow. Yep. I could probably get Will to let me borrow one.
Tim Ziegler says, thoughts on Vega trim?
They're neat. I don't have a purpose for them because I just think, why not just have a regular one? But they're cool. They're really cool. And I've seen them in use, and I've seen people use them on custom builds and stuff, and I think they're cool. I think a lot of those kind of more innovative or different takes on a regular Strat trim or whatever you want to call it are because people want something custom. I don't know. I think a lot of the stuff that people consider to be problems with guitars aren't really problems. It's just a lack of understanding of them. And so there's no point in buying a Vega trim if you're trying to solve a problem. But if you buy it because you think it's cool and you want something a little different, then get it because they're cool. But you're probably not going to solve a problem with it. You can solve any problem with your guitar if you set it up properly. So, there's that.
He said he loves them.
Yeah, they're so cool. It's a totally different kind of concept. There's a few different ways that they do them too. They got a couple different models, but they're really neat. The last NAMM show I went to, I hung out at their booth for a few minutes and played a couple of different ones, and they had some new stuff coming out, and I was able to talk to them about how they designed them and why they did and all that.
SF says, Dylan, have you tried putting the 3 Tele saddles on a Strat bridge plate?
No, I've never done that.
Have you?
That's interesting. I'd have to think about how that would work, actually.
Kent Poodles for Me says, what does it mean when a guitar for sale says outfit? I see them on Epiphones.
I don't know. I've never heard that.
Charles, so if you know the answer to what outfit on an Epiphone means, help out.
I've never heard
Kent.
that.
Charles B says, Sophia trim, been looking hard at those.
I hate that thing. That's what was on that Kolos.
Oh, is it?
That thing, I hate that thing. I never want to see another one of those again. If you want it, get it. But I don't.
Lee Asbury said, I'd like to see you mod an inexpensive Jaguar or Mustang and see what you do with it. No rules, just mod it till it makes you happy.
I was looking at one the other day, and the only reason I did not actually order it is because well, we'll talk about it more in the off-topic hour, but I'm on a freeze right now. I'm not buying anything, but it's on my short list. Let's just say that it's on my short list.
Which one?
Probably a Mustang.
You haven't done that before, have
No, we haven't. And I just sold some Mustang pickups the other day, and I was thinking, why don't we build up a Mustang? And that's Kurt Cobain. And we were talking about doing a build up on something to make it a Kurt Cobain kind of feel. But his has humbuckers in it. But still, we would start with a Mustang with a regular. I'd get a couple videos out of it because we could just build up a Mustang, and then I'd swap it over to a Kurt Cobain kind of setup. So it would be worth buying one. So yeah, the answer is yes, I want to. So stay tuned.
Michael Davis says, thoughts on adding metal plates to strap bridge pickups?
We could do it. We do it. We have them. Yep. And it's cool. It sounds neat. One of my friends, he said when they were kids, he said when he was a kid, he got some kind of gig and he needed a telly and he didn't have a telly. And this is before you could go to like Mojo Tone and buy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was Jimmy. So lived in New Jersey. And so apparently in the 80s, everyone had razor blades for some reason. And so, so they took their pick guards off and they just stuck razor blades to the bottom of their pickups. And it gave them like the kind of the telly tone.
That's funny.
Sticking razor blades to the bottom of their pickups.
A room with a mini moose says, hi Dylan, what is your favorite cap value for a Telecaster tone pot?
0.015, just like it comes with.
Greg Sack says, just wound up with a Squier Sonic Mustang that I was planning on using as a test bed project guitar, and now I've played a 24-inch scale, and now I'm rethinking everything.
Dude, short scales are fun. I was just thinking that the other night because, I've got these little acoustic guitars. So I've got the close carbon fiber, that's the shorter one, and I've got the McPherson Touring, which is a shorter scale. And oh my God, short scale guitars are fun. And when I had my Gibson G-Hole, I really liked that too, because that was the only 24/7.5 acoustic I've ever had. I always have 25.5-inch acoustics. And yeah, man, the short scale is cool. I really like it. I like how it feels, but I like how 25.5-inch sounds. I guess that's the way I would say that. But yeah.
67 Goat says outfit is just a fancy way to say it comes with a case or a case and an amp.
Oh, okay.
Greg Sack, same guy who just talked about the Mustang and the short scale. I have really quite small hands, and it's making a real serious difference. How do I talk myself out of getting conversion necks, mucking with the bridge positions on all my existing axes, please?
Just buy more Mustangs. Mustangs and Gibsons.
SF says, Dylan, many of the old Les Paul top wrap bridges had tailpiece lean. I'm assuming that the higher the bridge and top wrapping can weaken the wood fibers over time due to leverage.
No, that was because hardware was not what it is now. And it is also because early Les Pauls were retrofitted from a different bridge type. So I wouldn't worry about it. I don't worry about mine at all. And you shouldn't either. If you have a guitar that's newer than 1985, don't worry about it. It won't lean.
Miserable turd.
And raise your tailpiece because it will lean less.
Let me say it again. Miserable turd said, I just bought my third P90 from you for my 3 P90 Strat. You told me to install the P90 set as a bridge and middle and install another bridge in the neck position. Did I hear you right? Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, because then the polarity will be right and it will be basically like a Strat where it'll be reverse wound, reverse polarity. So what you'll have is you'll have south up in the bridge, you'll have south up in the neck, and you'll have north up in the middle. And then when you're in your notch positions, when you have your neck and your middle on at the same time, it'll be phase cancel or hum canceling. When you have a bridge in your middle on at the same time, it'll also be hum canceling. They're all wound the same, so it doesn't matter where they go in the guitar. It just matters how you wire them. So yeah, it's cool.
So then we got a super chat from Miserable Turd. So thank you for the super chat. I don't know if that was like thank you for answering or thank you for grabbing your question, or if you have another question, let me know.
Thumbs down. Frank doesn't like us with both his hands tonight.
Yeah, whatever. All right, I'm caught up again.
Cool.
Got 5 minutes.
We got 5 minutes before off-topic hour starts, so
Dun, dun, dun.
squeeze them in, man. Or we could just sit here in awkward silence.
Silence is not awkward. That's something we should talk about next hour.
It worked.
Super chat from Slacker Deluxe. Thanks, Doug. That's it. Did you have a question? Just
No.
supporting us? Thank you either way.
Yeah. And thanks for everybody for hitting the like button, too, because... Oh, there's 116 people watching and only 45 people have hit the hit the like button.
Fat Hand says, opinion on StuMac versus Music Nomad fret files.
StuMac all day. They last better, they stay sharper longer, and they're lifetime warranty. I have used both. I have both. I might have given my Music Nomad ones away, actually. And I have StuMac ones, and they're great.
Shane Walton wants to know any desire to get in Aristides. Is that how you say that? I
Yep.
can't remember.
I have a massive desire, and I have talked to him about it. And he told me that we could work something out, and I need to talk to him about it again. Because yes, I want one.
The filled ones?
Yeah, they're like that epoxy stuff. It's not carbon fiber, but it's, yeah. And then they do the crazy colors and tops and stuff. Yeah, I really want one of those. I just, I'd get an 060 probably. And I really, really want one. But they're very expensive. And I've had other guitar priorities. And so I have not. That's one of the guitars that doesn't exactly serve the channel the same way as other guitars do. And it's so expensive that I have to be in the right place to do it.
SF says, Dylan, does wiring a resistor in parallel with a pickup reduce its output? For instance, making a high output pickup sound like a vintage output one.
No, it just makes it quieter.
Oh, weird. Wait. I'm confused.
Did you miss a super chat?
I think so. Yeah, but it didn't pop up. See that?
Yeah.
Super chat from Miserable Turd. I feel like, do I just have to say that? Like, do people do it on purpose?
And
anyway, he said, thanks, dude. Thank you for the super
let me
chat.
add to that with the 3 pickups thing. If for some reason you get it and you put it all together and it doesn't, like something's out of phase or whatever, just hit me and I'll help you tell you what to switch and we'll get it right. But I think I told you. Oh, I mean, I know I told you right, but you know, sometimes things.
Communication fails.
Yeah, well, yeah. I just want to make sure he actually gets what he's looking for.
Fat Hand says, have you done a video on how to solder a cap in the correct orientation?
You don't need to worry about it. They are not electrolytic, so it doesn't matter.
Dog Siltonen, classic Filtertron or Supertron clone? Preference or thoughts?
Classic Filtertron, because there's only one Filtertron sound that I care about in the entire world. Only one. And that is Malcolm Young rhythm guitar sound on Back in Black. That's the only Filtertron sound that I care about at all in the entire world.
All right, last one. Curtis Chavez says, I love my ES 125, but it can be difficult to control in louder situations. How close can a solid body with a P90 in the neck position get to sounding like my precious?
Your 125.
My precious.
I tell you who's making cool guitars that will do that. The Texas Toast Icon, American Icon, or whatever that thing is called, is going to get you there. That'll do that. I know it will. I actually ordered mine yesterday. I'm very excited. Cool.
What time is it?
Off-topic hour. I've been looking forward to this.
Have you?
Yeah, just hanging out with everybody. Oh, super chat.
Super chat from Miserable Turd. I have my local guitar tech install the P90 pickup.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, if he has any questions or concerns, he can feel free to reach out to me as well when the time comes.
Thank you for the super chat. I don't think I said that.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man, for the multiple of them. Okay, so this is the off-topic hour. So you can ask us any question you want, and we'll probably answer it off-topic. If you have a guitar question after 9 o'clock, you have to use a super chat.
Just like Miserable Turd did.
Exactly. We only answer guitar questions after 9 o'clock in super chats. I encourage you to ask off-topic questions about anything in our lives or what you want to know about. Doesn't matter. This is our way of just hanging out and getting to know y'all, because I believe that is really important to this entire community. So that's what we're doing. And we do have some Patreon questions, because I do tell the people in Patreon and YouTube members to ask off-topic questions as well. So there's a couple here, I think.
Mm-hmm. Charles. Good evening, Leslie and Dylan. Thank you for hanging out with the community. I love that he's grateful.
Yes. Thank you, Charles.
Gratitude is important, so thank you.
Oh, we got another super chat. Sweet.
Super chat from Doc Siltonen. Thank you for the super chat, Doc. He said, I bought the American Icon with the CC Charlie Christian pickup that you wound in it. Best of both worlds.
I ordered something custom that they have not done yet, and so we discussed the details of it yesterday, and I am not going to tell you what it is.
Yes, you are. He's going to message you.
I'm still not going to tell him. Even Doc, I'm not going to tell him.
I don't even know.
I told you.
I didn't listen.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I know. We've had so much going on. All right, I think there's one more. There might be one or two more off topics.
Oh, one more. Shane, off topic. Thoughts on Remington Guns leaving their 200-year-old small town New York factory for Atlanta? Is Georgia the China of American manufacturing? LOL.
I don't think it necessarily has much to do with the cost. Maybe it does. I don't know. I don't know a lot about that, so I can't necessarily speak to it. But I do know that anything firearms related is probably easier to do in Georgia than it is in New York at this time. That would be I just know that from following things.
Yeah. And I think economics wise,
yeah,
it's cheaper in the South.
And
Atlanta is busting. Like,
yes,
lots of they just opened this huge new production. Like, it looks like something you would see in LA, like a whole studio with multiple sets. And so there's a lot of cool things happening
in Georgia in general. Here we have all kinds of cyber stuff and cybersecurity stuff, and a lot of military contractors surrounding cybersecurity and all that. So Georgia is really incentivizing people to bring their businesses here. So that's probably more to do with it than anything else. Yeah, and especially firearms related. I'm sure it's way easier here than it is in New York.
Tom F says, I think Kimber is leaving New York also.
I mean, I get it.
I mean, they might be being pushed out. If there's regulations or laws coming, like, who knows?
Yep.
Miserable Turd wants to know, is Leslie his wife or girlfriend?
We've been married for 11 years. Yep. She's my wife. Just don't tell my girlfriend.
I should have done my normal, like, wait, you have a wife?
I know.
All right.
Right.
I feel like I'm all over the place here. All right, let's get over here because I just had to grab some. Oh, here we go.
Another one.
Not leaving yet. Fat Hand, thank you for the super chat. Georgia has significant tax incentives, hence the film industry here. You said here, so where are you?
Yeah, where are you in Georgia?
That's why headquarters want to move here. Also, New York has become untenable with their taxes and regulations.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Especially firearm stuff. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Where are you at?
Yeah, where are you at in Georgia? Because we in Georgia too.
All right. Whoops. Did that.
All right.
Marcia Murray said, did any of y'all's kids get into the guitar, or did they rebel and play the sax or something? I don't know if he was asking the community or asking us, but
yeah. So both of the kids have asked about playing guitar, and I have given them guitars. I don't know how seriously they're taking it or messing around with it.
Or how much time they
or
have.
how much time they have. I mean, they're grown, so they're working and stuff.
But no, they don't play any.
They don't play any other instruments.
They weren't in band. Not my kids.
No, we do not have band geeks. They both know how to wind pickups. I mean, and they're very involved in the business and all that. They both work here.
You're doing something that's making my phone turn up volume. I don't know what would drive that.
Your watch.
Oh, dang it. Good point. I was like, why is it? It was like.
You're doing it.
But it was like sync to your voice. I could like watch it. And I was like, what are you doing?
No, your watch gets stuck in your sleeve sometimes.
Okay.
It happened to me when I'm listening to podcasts or.
That's funny.
Something.
All right.
Sometimes the gestures, like when you're, because how I can pause and play with your phone or with your hand. So if I like go to reach for the soldering iron or do various things, like sometimes it'll pause my podcast and I'll be like, dang it, and I'll have to unpause it.
Rob Faka. F1 testing thoughts, pecking order.
I have not been following it. I kind of am planning to let testing happen this week. And then, because I have the F1 app, because F1. So next week while I'm working or whatever, I'm not going to be working much next week. I will just let it play in the background. And maybe I'll do that a little bit tomorrow too. And just kind of and see. So I haven't really been following it. We have been very busy with a lot of off-topic stuff here, and so I have not had much time at all.
Fat Hands in Tucker, Decatur area.
Oh, cool. Okay.
All right. Jim Woodard said, I owned a 76 Ford Mustang too. Is that off or on topic? That was the first car I bought with my own money. That's
pretty cool, man. I remember those, and everybody kind of crapped on them, but they had a Cobra one that was really cool in blue with white stripes. My neighbor had a black one with a red interior with a 302, like a factory. I don't know. Was it a 289? I guess by then it would be a 302. It was a really cool car. Yeah. I mean, it was just a blown up Pinto, really, but they were really neat, I thought.
Super chat from Michael Davis. Thank you for the super chat, Michael. He said preference between surgical tubing versus springs on Telecaster pickup screws. Do springs make the pickup livelier?
They don't change the sound of them at all. Springs, I like using rubber. The problem is you have to cut it perfectly for it to work right. So we provide springs with our pickups because it's easier for the end user. That is why.
So I think this was related, miserable turd. Before he asked that question, I was like, what is the context of what's her name and relationship? But now it makes sense. He was trying to ask if I was your wife.
Oh, her name is Leslie.
Relationship. What is complicated?
Spouse.
What was it? Facebook? Is that complicated?
Yeah.
Is that what people used to put?
It's complicated.
Yeah, it's complicated. Spouse.
So
funny story. Can I tell a funny story about that?
Yeah, tell a funny story.
So my son, our son just got married. He's
I remember
filling out his application for the marriage license, and he calls me because he's a dude and he didn't know the answers to all the questions.
It was so funny.
One of which, as we go through, because some of it was about me, right? You have to put your parents' information on there, and so he's asking me, like, verifying, like, is really what it was, like, maiden name. And then, so he's going down and he's just keeping me on the phone as he's like, do I have everything? You could hear him like he's reading it. And then he was like, what am I supposed to put? It says, relationship between applicant 1 and applicant 2. And I was like, he was like, am I supposed to put engaged? I was like, no, dude, you're supposed to put none. They're trying to make sure you're not marrying your cousin. He was like, oh.
Yeah. Because in Georgia, you can't do that. In South Carolina, you can. You can still marry your first cousin in South Carolina.
So funny. Lou York X says Dylan talks tone, Leslie talks blank.
Digital accessibility.
Very good. That's pretty good.
Thanks.
I'm impressed.
Digital accessibility. And Amazon is coming tomorrow.
What?
And I just made a Target order. You say that a lot too.
Yeah. Leslie talks money spending.
Yeah. We both been talking a lot of that lately. Whew.
Dog Dr. Tim, hello, Dylan and Leslie. Off topic, are you familiar with Watchman knives? Just got mine tonight from Amazon. Fixed blade WF210. Beautiful red stained wood handle. DC 53 steel. Can't wait to try it out. Watchman knives. Jason Albert said you can marry your first cousin in Missouri also.
Ugh. Huh.
Who did the song Complicated? Avril Lavigne. Duh.
I have not seen these. I'll have to look into them. Cool.
SF. This is kind of not related, but I'm going to let it slide. SF says, Dylan, do you think you have too much guitar gear in your house?
No, but so related and not related to guitar stuff. So we close on a house tomorrow. We are moving, well, this week. And I'm gonna talk about it on Patreon. And
doesn't it look like we're moving?
Yeah, we haven't packed anything.
Not one thing. We bought the boxes.
We did buy the boxes. They're sitting in there.
It's good intent.
But we're moving next week, and in the new place, I was telling her my goal is I don't want guitar gear everywhere. I want, I mean, I'm going to have a room that is going to have just full of stuff, you know, because this is my job. But, and we're going to, you know, hang a bunch of guitars on the wall and all that kind of stuff. But I don't want pedals and cables and like, it's just a spaghetti mess around here. And we're going to keep everything a lot more simple. I'm grateful for all of the multi-effect stuff, the Tonex stuff, and I got a Kemper coming. I bought another Kemper, and so to keep it all simpler, man. So there's just not pedals and crap just everywhere. And I'll still have all that stuff, but I'm gonna put it up, and then I'm gonna take it out and use it when we need it for videos and put it back up again. I'm not gonna have, you know, my house isn't gonna look like that pedal show. You know, I don't want that. I want it to be classier than that. So we've got some ideas. I'm gonna share some stuff on Patreon on Monday night that I'm gonna kind of give you guys some ideas about what we're doing and how we're doing it. So, and then I'll probably take the GoPro over there next week and shoot some kind of little before clips, and give you guys an idea of what the layout's gonna be and stuff. It's gonna be kind of cool. We're super excited. We're really excited. Excited face. Get to move.
Joe Meyer says, I come here on Thursdays to see a husband and wife who enjoy and are comfortable with each. AMSR.
ASMR?
Maybe. I don't know. That's not what it says, but maybe that's what he meant. I don't know that we are very soothing.
It depends. Last night was it last night? We were laying in bed just talk, because a lot of times like we'll get in bed and just.
No, it was like the night.
It was the night before, you know, and just literally just lay there and like stare at the ceiling, just talking about the day or whatever. And you said something, and then I said something, and the next thing you know, we're both busting up, and I'm just like, we are so dumb. Like people will, if they knew how, like, oh my God, we are so dumb sometimes. You know, you just get in those moods where you're just super goofy and super like.
Yeah, it's called tired.
Yeah, it's called tired. That's what it is. Yeah.
Joe, but that is really nice.
Thank you. Yeah.
We do actually like each other.
Mm-hmm. We do.
Vinny's World, thank you for the super chat. Vinny, he said, since you've mentioned the new place, guitar question, does the new place have a fence? Will we see a fence postcaster version 2.0?
Oh my God. It does. It has a fence.
Has a fence. That's a great idea, because
it is a great
the number of people that are like, I found you when you put a guitar in a fence.
Just out of symbolism, if nothing else, we should do it again. I've got a neck in there we could use.
You think they'd get mad if we just put pick guards on the top of the fence all the way around?
There's a tree in the front yard, too. We could just put it in the side of a tree.
It's not the same.
Thanks, Vinny.
Thank you, Vinny. Now I can't stop laughing.
That's pretty funny. I didn't think of that, so I'm glad somebody did. I kind of forgot. I didn't forget, but I didn't think of that.
I can't read your name. It looks like Los Federales. Not to cut into your profit, but do you ever run sales? I'm in Canada, and the conversion rate kills me.
We do not often
run. Know how you can get a discount, though.
Yeah, we do not often run sales, but what we do.
Miserable turd. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Is if you're a Patreon member, you get 10% off everything we make, or a YouTube member, and it works out really well because the lowest membership is $5 a month, And if you buy a set of humbuckers, that's like $27 American that it saves you one time. So, and I doesn't bother me at all if you join Patreon for a month just to get a discount on a set of pickups. It doesn't bother me at all, especially in a situation like you where if you did that, it would help you get what you want one time because of the exchange rate. So I get it. We don't do sales because a lot of folks, I don't, I've said it before, I don't like cheap people. Your situation is different. You're not cheap. I mean, you're dealing with economics of the planet Earth. Um, and what happens is if you run sales, there becomes a mentality where
They
wait on sales and they'll only buy, and then they become price shoppers. And I am not a price shopper. I am a does this do what I need it to do shopper. And I find value in folks that value what they do. And so I value what I do, and I hope that my customers value what I do, and that's why they buy what we have. If you are a price shopper, go buy GFS stuff. I don't care. I'm gonna do a just gonna say it podcast on Tuesday, probably Tuesday actually, on the whole idea, because I've had people ask me like, the guy that has $30 humbuckers and he's working out of his garage, how come yours are so expensive? There's a lot of reasons for that. That we could really go down a deep dive on that would help people understand why. It's more than just it's a value thing overall. So yeah.
Matthew Altamere says, what is the first modification planned on the new residence? Is paint a modification?
Paint, yeah. So the main thing is, because we both work from home, more than anything else is I need my office to be set up and we need her office to be set up. So whatever we need to do, and I'm going to share some of that stuff on Patreon, and obviously changing the locks. I've got parts coming for all that stuff. That's all coming. We're going to go pick paint colors for my office this weekend and for yours. And we are actually having the carpets cleaned on Thursday. So, we've got a big plan. As we get closer, we'll share some more of that stuff and be able to show you some more as we go. Because it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. It's going to change everything. Those of you that are on Patreons know some of the stuff that we're about to do. Dylan Talks Tone we're just getting started. If you think what we do is good now, hang on to your butts.
Fat Hand said, did you ever get a chance to check out Gary Cunningham knives?
Nope.
Doc Silton said, just for context, a P90 from Tim McNally is 209 Canadian. A Dylan P90 is 203 Canadian at the current exchange rate. So they're the same.
Makes sense. Yeah, I pay attention to what other people are doing. And, it's funny because so we're the same price. And we build this value into our product, what we're doing right now. And so I hope if people don't find value in this and they're just price shopping, that's okay. They can go buy somewhere else. It doesn't bother me. But if they find value in all the other things that we do, then they'll buy from us. And that's what we like.
Curtis Chavez says, I just got a summons to court duty. What's the best way to not get selected?
wear a vintage General Lee t-shirt.
Oh. Wow. Tom F says, any ideas on a good light duty router table and from where?
Matt really likes that rigid stuff at Texas Toast. He really likes that rigid stuff. I don't have a table. I have a DeWalt router, but I don't have a table for it. Yeah, which I might get, but yeah.
Jason Albert said, yes. Thank you for mentioning changing the locks.
Oh, dude. You know why? My in-laws, they're older than us by a fair amount, obviously. And they still believe that it's a good idea to have keyed deadbolts on the inside of your house. And I am like, no. So that's getting changed.
As was the inspector.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So, yeah. Immediately.
Doc Stiltonen says, no knife tonight?
I have one in my pocket, yeah. Yep. I got a really cool one in my pocket. In fact, actually, they didn't see this one because we didn't do a show last week. In fact, they didn't see either of them. Where is my other one? My Spider Co.
Oh, I don't know.
It might be on the floor where I dropped it when I broke the friggin'...
There's a pickup on the floor.
Actually, see it? That knife right there? See that knife sheath sticking out?
No.
Right there underneath the... There's a bunch of paper towels that fell out of that trash can.
Paper towels.
Left.
Oh, this?
Yep. Thank y'all. I actually got a couple new knives. This is the Three Rivers Manufacturing Atom 20 CV. It is sculpted titanium blade. Sculpted titanium handle.
I found this on the web.
Shut up. And see if I can get it to focus on the knife. Come on, you can do it. Anyway, I don't know why it never wants to focus. There we go. Anyway, this is it. It's super sick, super thin. I did a video about it on our other channel, on the Dylan and Leslie channel. This is what I've been carrying since I got it. I really like it. And then Spyderco does a thing where they call it their mule team, where they test new materials by selling extremely short runs. And they test them. And so that's what this is. And this is very cool because this is a ceramic Spyderco. This is actually ceramic, made in Switzerland. And it is really, really cool. And it's super sharp. It's funny because it's like, it doesn't feel sharp like when you run your finger on the edge. But it cuts, man. It cuts. I was stripping wire with it today, like just stripping wire with it. It is phenomenally good. My thumb is not cut because of that. My thumb is cut because I was drilling a hole in something today, and the bit snagged and broke the bit, and the bit was still spinning and went right down the side of my finger. It was nasty. Anyways, this is a really neat knife. So it's a fixed blade, ceramic, one piece tang all the way through with bolt-on scales, Kydex sheath. Really, really neat thing. So I've been using this kind of as a utility deal, and I really like it. Anyway, there you go.
Dog Dr. Tim said, will you do the realtor style reveal video tour of the new home?
We will probably on Patreon next week. I will do that with the GoPro, and we'll just not anything high production. We'll just walk around, at least the parts that I want you to see, and show you, the studio, where the studio is going to be, where my office is going to be.
Yeah, I think that's important. I would like you to bank some kind of pre-video like that, though. or maybe we go through and take pictures since we don't have pictures and do before and afters.
Oh yeah, we could do that. It's going to be a big difference. Yeah, we have a bunch of plans. So.
All right, all caught up.
And Monday will be 4 weeks that I have not bit my fingernails.
You're borderline tonight. I don't know what you're.
No, I wasn't.
You're very picky tonight.
I had some stuff under my nails that I was trying to get out. But yes, yeah.
You've never had anything under your nails?
No. Well, it's because I was aligning a nib on a fountain pen, and I was doing it, and of course a bunch of ink got underneath my nail because of the way I was grabbing it. And so I was sitting here trying to like get the ink out from underneath my nail.
What'd you do to your arm?
That, I don't know. I ran into something probably. Yep. Well, cool. Thanks for hanging out, you guys.
Yes.
It's been fun. I'm going to shoot a video tomorrow. It'll come out on Monday.
Do a hangout on Monday.
We're doing a live hangout on Patreon on Monday. Don't miss it because it's going to be cool. And of course, next week is going to be who knows what. You're going to see.
I don't know where we'll be Thursday night.
Yeah, we don't know where
we'll be somewhere.
Yeah, we'll be somewhere. We'll probably be here. I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. We will be somewhere. We're not putting off any content, but we will be somewhere. I'm excited, man. I'm super excited. So I'll be moving all my guitars on Wednesday. So I do know that. The movers come on Friday, so we have to have everything off, all the furniture and everything, because they're taking the furniture and whatever we have boxed on Friday. So there you go. Cool. I guess we'll see you later. Thank you.